the third highest scoring defenseman in the league. Also last Thursday night at the Meadowlands in New Jersey, the NHL's oldest player, Chico Resch, came up with a super goaltending effort as the Devils upset the Montreal Canadiens. Resch stopped 37 shots to lead his team to a 4-3 victory. The Canadiens have relinquished first place in the Adams division. They now trail the Quebec Nordiques by 1 point. But Montreal has the second best defensive record. Canadiens goaltender Doug Stothard has the best goals against average amongst the NHL's regular goaltenders. And there is no doubt Larry Robinson continues to be the Canadiens team leader. With 66 points, Robinson is second to Paul Coffey in points by a defenseman this season. Tonight, two of the NHL's best, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens, are set to face off at the Montreal Forum.
Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada. Brought to you by Molson, celebrating our 200th year. The best is yet to come. Esso, with over 3,000 locations across Canada to serve you better. And by Ford of Canada, where quality is more than a commitment, quality is job one.
It's the third and final game this season between Philadelphia and Montreal. The Flyers have won the previous two. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Hockey Night in Canada. I'm Dick Irvin, speaking to you from our studios here at the Montreal Forum, where the hometown fans expect some better things from their team. The Canadiens going through one of their toughest 10-day stretches of the season. They have lost 4 of their last 5 games. However, a win tonight, and they'd be back in first place ahead of the Quebec Nordiques as those teams battle for supremacy in the Adams division. Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer will be in the broadcast booth tonight, and they are standing by right now to talk with the two coaches. First, Gary, and Philadelphia coach Mike Keenan.
The Flyers already have 38 wins to their credit this year, and Mike, is a lot of the focus on the success of your hockey club geared to defensive aspect of the game?
I think that's very important for our club to build a solid foundation behind good goaltending and good, strong team defense. You have to be that in line with that to be successful over 80 games, and that's what we're really gearing for right now as we head into the playoffs.
Mike, with the Canadiens struggling at this juncture of the season, they have 2 or 3 guys that are scoring for them. Do you believe in line matchup? Is that a way to stop those key players?
Well, first of all, I didn't know they were struggling. I think that we can expect a pretty good game out of them. But yes, we'll try to focus on a couple of their key scorers to try to eliminate them and keep them away from the play by having a good checkers on them. But Jean Perron has the last change, as you know, and we'll have to see how they come up against us.
You know, speaking of key scorers, you have quite a few in your hockey club, but one name that always comes to mind is Tim Kerr. In your mind, what makes him such a great goal scorer?
I think 2 things. One, his quick hands, his quick release. He has a very explosive release, and secondly, his size. He's able to establish himself in the scoring slot very easily, and it's tough to get him out of there with this big 225-pound frame.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be a very competitive contest. You have your booster club from Philadelphia here to cheer you on. And good luck in tonight's game, Mike.
Thanks very much, Gary.
And now here's Bob Cole with Coach Jean Perron.
Jean, you're having a great year from people like Robinson, Smith, Naslund, the rookie Darlene, but there are people on your team I know you want to see scoring. What do you do about it?
I think we need goals, big goals from different other guys. Like so far Mario Tremblay got big goals in Detroit and last week. But we have players who can play better offensive hockey than right now. But it's a matter of, I guess, getting the breaks, of being more confident with the puck and breaking in the opening a little bit faster.
Jean, do you like to use 3 people on the one line, keep them that way, or do you mind mixing them up?
I wish we had my best scorers on different lines like the Flyers doing right now. It works, but I guess I don't have a choice right now. And in order to get some power, offensive power, I got to do what I'm doing. But in a matter of time, I guess we'll change that around.
John, just a couple of months ago, you've already done a remarkable job. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Jean Perron is a rookie head coach in the NHL. Last year in his rookie season, Mike Keenan was voted Coach of the Year. We are talking about rookies tonight and inside hockey, specifically Wendell Clark of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the #1 draft choice. He'll be the topic also of our Coach's Corner with Don Cherry. Coach, I understand you love to watch Wendell Clark play hockey.
I sure do. Every coach in the National Hockey League would love to have Wendell Clark. A beauty.
So the rookies will be the topic under discussion tonight on Inside Hockey. Maybe we'll see Wendell Clark on our NHL update. The Maple Leafs are hosting the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. We'll have highlights from Maple Leaf Gardens during our show. Hockey Night in Canada on CBC returns in just a moment. Home Sweet Home becomes their theme song over the next week. This is the beginning of a 4-home game stand for the Canadiens until they take off and play 4 straight on the road the week after next. A total of 7 games on the National Hockey League schedule for tonight. We will have 6 of them, of course, on our out-of-town scoreboard. Our update game, Chicago at Toronto. We have the Islanders leading New Jersey 2-0 into the second period with Bourne, that should read, and Mike Bossy with his 41st doing the scoring for New York. Vancouver is at Pittsburgh tonight. They are tied 1-1. Thomas Gradin has scored for the Canucks and Doug Shedden for the Penguins. Elsewhere tonight with later starts, westward in time zones, Boston at St. Louis, Hartford plays in Minnesota, and a much later start, the Washington Capitals and the Kings playing in Los Angeles. We will have Brad McCrimmon of the Flyers as our first intermission guest, and in the second intermission, World Hockey Report takes us to Switzerland. And Dale McCourt, remember him, George Gross, talking with McCourt, whose hockey season, believe it or not, will end today, February the 15th. Here in Montreal, still a lot of hockey left this season and the playoffs. The Flyers and the Canadiens are ready. So are our broadcasters Bob Cole and Gary Dornhoff.
Thank you, Dick, and good evening again, everybody. There's the referee for tonight's hockey game, Ron Hogarth. Ron Asseltine and Leon Stickle working with him on the line. His 7th straight start in goal for Philadelphia is Bob Froese, 3-0-3 in that stretch. He has taken over, as you know, and he is number 1 in Philadelphia. Speaking of number 1, there's number 1 in goal tonight for the Canadiens. They have 3 goaltenders, Waugh, Steve Penny on the bench tonight, Doug Sochart between the pipes for the Canadiens. McCrimmon and Mark Howe starting for Philadelphia. The 2 Sutters and Tocchet up front against Strudel, Tremblay, and McPhee. Ludwig and Curvers on the Canadiens defense, and the first shot, a long looping shot into Sochart, and he just grabbed it and threw it to the corner. Tremblay hits Curvers back to the net. Curvers a long lead pass, and these Philadelphia Flyers are going to be forechecking. You can bet on that.
Bob, that's their game plan, and for the Flyers to be effective, they have to take the body, led by the Sutter twins.
Tocchet is in there, mixing it up back to the net with Ludwig. Sutter went down. Now he gets out in front, centered it, and Sochart had to be very big on Rich Sutter. He fired one from 10 feet out. A close call for the Canadiens in the first 30 seconds of the hockey game. Now the Habs come to center. That is Strudel, the rookie, going in, sliding it in front. Curver set it up in the corner to Tremblay. The 2 teams try to make changes. This is Dazzle 25 for Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a very quick hockey team, and they're huge this year.
Well, they've got some size, Bob. There's no question about that, and they're very durable.
There's McPhee flipping one in for the Canadiens. Over there's Sinisalo coming out for Philadelphia. He got as far as center. It's dropped right back. And Darlene, speaking of rookies, the shining rookie for the Canadiens with Bobby Smith. A pass to Robinson, and a good save by Froese. A fine play by the Canadiens, so they went in.
Well, you're going to see Robinson do that from time to time, depending on who the winger and how he's checking them, and look for how to do the same thing.
Philadelphia in there again. Sinisalo, 23, along the boards. Darlene couldn't take it from him. It's flipped in behind the net, and the Flyers are in first again to pick it up. Smith trying to center it. That's Derek Smith, 24. But the Canadiens push it out to center. Svoboda is spun around. Pass off the boards by Brad Marsh. And the Canadiens, Naslund is coming in. A shot. It went off the skate of Froese. He didn't see it. And a ricochet the other way into the corner. The Canadiens come close again. Swoboda from center rolled it back. Ludwig played it ahead. Here comes Richer. He's 44 on the move. In there, bumping with the Philadelphia defenseman Richter. Richter went down. Marsh is tied up. But the Flyers get it out of the zone. 2.5 gone in the opening period. And there's no score. There have been some pretty good scoring chances at both ends, though. Here's Ryan Walter's neat play to Richer. Took that pass and went in. Beautiful move. And that backhander along the ice and froze. I'll tell you, had to be good to stop Richer. He's very, very good. Richer falling now. Play comes back out to the line. The Canadiens can't keep it in. Prop couldn't catch up to it. Habs in again. This time Nyland takes the shot and throws, knocks it down. Nyland gets in front of the net. Fans hollering for a penalty as Carbonneau goes in there against Stanley, 29 for Philadelphia. And the Canadiens out in the center ice zone.
Isn't this just a typical game that you would expect from the Flyers in Montreal? End-to-end action. And what we've seen so far tonight, a lot of good takeouts.
Here are the Canadiens again. Gainey can't get a shot through. It's blocked by Crossman. Crossman of Philadelphia stopping the shot. Carbonneau now. He has to shoot it in. The Canadiens want to make changes again. They're nearing the 4-minute mark. Opening period. We're going to get a whistle. Finally, maybe. Icing called against the Flyers. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Forum in Montreal.
Get out of this slump that they're in. It's going to be very difficult against Keenan and his troops because they play excellent defensive hockey.
Strudlin quick on the draw. Robinson's shot went off the leg and into the corner. The Canadiens can't keep it in. It bounces back to Robinson, who's back to his own line. Robinson flipped it ahead, 2-on-1. Strudlin going in, shooting, and that's stopped by Froese. He was out the cupping angle and made a good save. Now Philadelphia, led by Mark Howe. He saw Carson going in fast. There's Carson trying to hook it in front, and Curvers covering up, but Tocchet all over him, in for checking. He and Sutter failed to come up with the puck, though. McPhee just knifed it away, and it goes down the ice. Icing waved off. They've played 4.5 minutes of the first period. No score. Mark Howe quarterbacking the attack for Philadelphia, playing it in. But it was to Curvers. Weak play by Curvers nearly cost him. He nearly gave it up. Again, Mark Howe. And this time it's off the glass and high into the crowd.
Well, again, we've seen some excellent passing by both hockey clubs as they try to get that first goal. And when you play the type of defense of these two teams, that first goal is so very important. You know, talking to Keenan, the hockey club has already won 91 games for him since he's taken over as coach, and he seems to get the most out of every single player, and that's a very important aspect for being a coach.
Face off near the center ice red line. Bobby Smith again, who's having such a great season for the Canadiens. Smith, number 15, just played it in. And back there, Philadelphia's Brad Marsh spinning around in the corner, nearly gave it up. Big Kerr comes to center with the pass. Kerr failed to pick it up. It was dropped back to him by Derek Smith. And the Canadiens again. Long pass intended for Naslund. That hit a skate. Swoboda played it in for Montreal.
Interesting matchup. Kerr against Naslund. Strength against the speed of a Naslund. We'll watch that matchup as the game progresses.
Pass. Kerr knew he would have been called offside. He allowed the puck to go down the ice, so it's icing against the Philadelphia Flyers. 5:26 gone first period. No score. Toronto, and Dick Irvin is watching that for us, and he'll have all the highlights here so far. Not many scoring highlights, right, Dorney? But a lot of scoring chances. Still no score. Some pretty good chances for the Canadiens. And they're in there again. Little backhand pass in front, and the Flyers, two of them come to center ice. Tocchet goes to the right as the shot is taken from the other side by Carson. Another shot. That hit Carson in front of the Montreal net. Flyers keep the heat on Montreal. Now it's Robinson leading the attack. Played it ahead near center. Richer. He backhands it in for Montreal. Into the other corner. It's centered. Flyers are back there trying to clear. Ryan Walter was stopped. Turning around is Ron Sutter. Sutter takes his time. Gives it a Howe. Back to Sutter. Long shot. Stopped easily by Stoddart. And as the Flyers were changing, the Canadiens come in. That long shot by Deblois. Stopped easily by Froze. Flyers shoot it in again. Prop is going in after Bobby Smith. And Smith got a pass away, but it's blocked at the line by Dave Brown. And Robinson takes over for Montreal. Nearing the 7-minute mark of the opening period. Still no score. Froze has to play this one. The play continues for Bobby Smith coming in. Played it back in the net to Naslund. Naslund is very tricky, mind you. Coming out, right in! And a shot with 3 players falling in front of the net. So what a great play by Naslund.
And also, what a great screening job that Bobby Smith was doing to allow Naslund to make that swing out of the corner. Excellent team play.
That pass didn't work for Darlene. Coming up to the 8-minute mark now as Sotart watches this one dribble in wide. Swoboda lost his chance to move it to the corner. Bobby Smith was covering up in front on Prop, and he takes it for Canadiens. Now Smith. A pass to Naslund. Slow in getting away. The pass actually was in behind the winger. And the defenseman Ludwig has to bring it up. Ludwig shoots it in off the hand of Carbonneau. Ludwig will have to do it again from right. Now Nyland backs up with it near the Montreal blue line to Ludwig. Ludwig starts up. Ludwig's pass back to Nyland. He tipped it in. Here comes Bob Gainey. Stanley cleared it away from everybody. And the Flyers come right back to center. It's dropped back by Prop. Prop gets it again. His shot creased the post. Marsh's shot. That one is in away wide. It comes back in front of the Canadiens. Get it out. They nearly set up a 2-on-1 near center. Carbonneau didn't see Nyland open on the wing. Back in again with a long shot by Derek Smith. Nowhere near the net. Gainey bumped his man at the blue line. Smith got in front, but Big Robinson was covering on him. There goes Carbonneau. Here come the Flyers forechecking again. Dessel fell at the side of the net. Smith and Robinson hold it in the corner. On the boards, it squirts loose, and Carbonneau was there for Montreal. Nyland is bumped by Brad Marsh, and the puck rolls down.
You know, one of the reasons that we have such good flow in this hockey game, you never see players standing still. They're always in motion so that when they get the puck, they have a chance of beating somebody on the one-on-one. And we've got a penalty coming up.
First penalty of the hockey game. Tonight's game is coming to you from the Forum in Montreal.
Off the board and then try to get your own rebound and follow through. Lawler applied the trip, so now the Flyers will get that first power play opportunity.
38.
And watch Kerr of Philadelphia. He'll be in the goal crease area. You can take that one to the bank.
Now, Bob, he leads the league with 26 and is only 2 shy of a record held by Bossi and Esposito at 28. And you know he's going to surpass that before the year is out. Remember what Keenan had talked about, the soft hands, getting yourself in position where nobody can take them. So you see number 17, Ludwig, that's going to be his job. Take care of Kerr and see if he can move him from in front of that net.
Kerr is number 12. If Philadelphia wins this draw, you can rest assured he'll go straight to the net. But the puck comes out over the line to Mark Howe. So the Flyers come back to organize. They're on a power play now. The Canadiens drawing the game's first penalty. It's flipped into the Montreal zone. It could be icing if Berbers can get there in time. He does not. Prop had it, but the Canadiens shoot it out anyway. It went high at the Philadelphia bench. All right, let's have our first Hockey Night in Canada update now, and here's Dick Irvin.
We said we hoped we'd see Wendell Clark in one of our updates from Toronto. Well, here he is. Tail end of a Toronto power play with Steve Larmer in the box. It's Clark deflecting Salming's shot. His 20th of the season. Toronto has taken a 1-0 lead.
He's certainly doing it all, Bob. He gets involved, he knocks people down, and still finds time to score goals. Wendell Clark.
And you heard Don Cherry talk about Wendell Clark many times. And at the top of the show with Dick, and he'll be talking more about Wendell Clark a little later with Dick Irvin. Why not? He's an exciting young man, exciting young hockey player with the Maple Leafs. And here we've got Prop for Philadelphia. That shot is knocked down. Kerr's in there. The puck is in the net, but it's going to be wiped out. It's going to be wiped out, and the Flyers are going to argue that call. But the net had jumped up. You could see the net come off the moorings for a second. And Ron Hogarth immediately waved his arms. The light came on after.
Well, that also, Bob, that demonstrated the ability of Tim Kerr and how difficult he is to get out of there. Look at the strength of him. And, you know, Ludwig isn't any small guy, and he just gets that position, works in there. The net really didn't come off the moorings. It's lifted up. It will not count.
Let's put it this way, it didn't stay off the moorings, but it certainly
Lifted
came
up.
off and went high.
But look at the position of Hogarth. He was absolutely perfect position. Didn't hesitate in making a call.
Flyers wanted that goal, but they'll have to wait, because that one is wiped out. 1:33 left in the Canadiens penalty.
I talked about Tim Kerr scoring all the goals. He has 41 for the year. But, you know, Brian Propp is no slouch either. He has himself 37 to this juncture.
So Philadelphia will go back again. They're on the power play. Lawler of the Canadiens is in the box. There is no score in this first period. And Philadelphia starts to move it. The Crimmins pass. Hit a skate and bounces into Robinson. Robinson overskates it behind the net. Ludwig is covering up on Sutter. Robinson is in there also. Here's Carbonneau, and he finds the opening to clear it down the ice. Gainey goes to the bench. Skrudlin hops on there for Montreal, and he's with Deblo off front to try and hang on now. 50 seconds left in the Canadiens penalty. No scores. Howe comes into Zessel. Zessel shot, and Ludwig was in front of the goaltender, had him scream. Milkard was moving, but a little late. Lucky for him, the puck was off the net. 35 seconds left in this power play. Philadelphia moving it in. A pass by Propp, but they're offside at the Montreal blue line.
You know, it's very difficult to play against one Sutter because of their tenacious checking, and they're over you all the time. But when you have to contend with two on the same line, as we have with Rich and Ron, and the other night against the Islanders in Philadelphia, the two Sutters, they completely shut down Bossy and Trottier. So you have to be doing an excellent job to be able to handle the dynamic scoring of those two individuals.
You've heard coaches say they'd like to have their players come to work hard every night. Well, you don't have to try to get the Sutters up. They're up before they hit the rink. And they put out all the time. They're great to watch. Zessel is in there for Philadelphia. Carbonneau again is going to clear it. Backhands it out into the center ice zone. Only 20 seconds left in the Canadiens penalty. There's no score in this first period. We've started at a fair pace in this hockey game. Sinisalo goes in. Canadiens will kill the penalty. That's Carbonneau again, doing a great job. In 5 seconds' time, the Canadiens penalty is up. So the Flyers won't have a chance to move down ice again with a man advantage. Now the penalty is in fact over. And the Canadiens are at full strength again, and the Flyers move it in. Sinisalo is checked outside the line by Dahlin. Here's Naslund, and Carbonneau going for the net. But he was tied up, and the goaltender froze, went down to hang on to it. And there will be a face-off in the Philadelphia zone.
Oh, we got trouble. Yeah, we're in terrible, terrible trouble. We gotta fix these cars and make them run like new.
Don Cherry at the Forum in Montreal. And two of the big teams in the National Hockey League, the Philadelphia Flyers of the Patrick Division, and from the Adams Division, the Montreal Canadiens. 8:50 left in the period, and no score. Ron Sutter knifes one through for Tocchet, and back there fast is Gingras for the Canadiens, 29. He gets it out of the zone, and Richter back for Philadelphia. Bobby Smith nearly stole it, but back checking was Ron Sutter. That's Sutter back of the net. Looking out to the side. Finds his brother on the move, and then decides to go the other way to Carson up the center. Carson goes in, takes a light bump from Curvers. He fell down. Carson carries on, but Smith is there for Dahlin. He can't get to the puck in time. Marsh slapped it into the corner behind the net. And now it's Naslund at the blue line side, stepping Carson. Carson hurt himself on the board. Naslund is going in. A shot from the line hit a skate, and it's cleared down the ice. Carson limping off the ice to the Philadelphia bench. He really hurt himself along the board. Naslund again. Moved it up on the right side. Naslund shooting. Naslund! And that one off the leg. Once again at the blue line, it comes back out to center ice.
Bob, that's something that Brad Marsh does so well. Timing has to be absolutely perfect. And he saved 2 on 2 consecutive shots for his goaltender.
Derek Smith shooting one in for Philadelphia. Naslund having a great shift again, so what else is new? Flyers take the shot. McCrimmon's shot blocked in front of the net. McPhee couldn't get very far near center ice. 7:20 left in the period. Philadelphia's Brad McCrimmon stopping at his own line, feeding it ahead for Rich Sutter. Svoboda back for Canadiens. Svoboda will take the pass off the boards, or maybe not. Craven beat him to it. Craven comes around the net, takes a look back at the point area, decides to roll it into Smith. Smith is covered by Robinson. Craven again, back of the net, couldn't center it. Now Sutter, he's faked one time, gets it back to the line, and it bounces away from McCrimmon. McPhee nearly stole it. It's high at the Canadian bench. And again, the play is called. 6:47 left in the period, and it's still scoreless. For Philadelphia and Montreal, the Flyers defeated Montreal 5-4 and 6-3 in their previous meetings. This one is scoreless. We're in the first period with 6:40 to play. Philadelphia. Crossman back there. Flipped the pass to the left side. The Canadians doing some forechecking of their own now. At the line, a pass is stopped by McPhee. He had to hurry that pass. Ludwig moves up. Ludwig decides to toss a high one in, and underneath it, and making the catch, Bob Froese.
You know, having lost 4 out of 5 games, as we look at Bob Froese, you know, the Canadians, I think one thing area you have to look at is the intensity level. If the intensity level is there, it's just a matter of time before you're going to get out of that slump. Talking to the trainers, they need Bob Froese in the playoffs. He has a tendency to get those muscle pulls, and that's a prime concern of the Flyers organization, is they can't have him being hurt, especially when the playoffs start.
Skrudland again, number 39 there for Canadians on the draw. Failed to win it. And the Flyers control on the faceoff, which is so very important in your own zone, and they get it out immediately. Skrudland is bumped, but tipped the puck back inside the Philadelphia line. That's Crossman around the net. Got away from one check. Moved away from another. Going down to the line and rolled a pass in. Here's a good chance. And out comes Sotard to knock it down. And it's grabbed by Ryan Walter in time, but the Flyers moved it right in. A good play by Crossman.
Well, that's why we have the 2 best goaltenders, the best goals against average, Sotard and Froese, and they're demonstrating the reason why. Challenge at every opportunity.
Skrudland's pass ahead near center. Deblois trying to find some room in there. Stanley is all over him. Into the corner, Poulin is stopped. Here's Skrudland coming in. Gingras with the shot. And that's wide. Robinson from the other side. Robinson knocked down. Here's Carbonneau. Oh, and a nice save by Froese. Even though that shot was from a bad angle from Carbonneau. Carbonneau is bumped by 2 players. Kerr knocked him down finally near center ice. And Nyland is back for Canadians. Nyland rolled it in front of his own net. Gingras was back there. Gingras waits, takes a look. Sinisalo is watching his every move. A pass hit the skate of Nyland. And Marsh will shoot it back in for Philadelphia with 5 minutes left in the period. And still no score. Sinisalo couldn't stop it on the board. Nyland races away. Here's Carbonneau going in there on the backhand. Going for the far side and just missing it. 3 Flyers go hard to center. Sinisalo is coming in there. He stops. Slides it in front of the Canadians. Got back beautifully to break it up. Down goes Carbonneau again. Nyland for the net. Carbonneau tried to go in. Carbonneau is in there. Nyland fell and Froese somehow saw the puck. And the goaltenders smothered it.
Position game working. Quick passes out of your own end. Get the forward line moving into the other end of the ice.
Richer is 44. Got the draw. Weak shot. Easy save for Froese. Stopped at the line. Bean went after it, but the Canadians can't keep it in. Now Tocchet. He hit Richer with a pass. There's McPhee. It hopped over his stick. Ron Sutter turns back in his own zone. Canadians steal it in there. Richer tried to go around McCrimmon and lost it. Canadians still with the puck. McPhee shot right in front. It comes off the skate of Tremblay. And back for Philadelphia. Carson near the line. Gets ready to drop it in front. He did. Nobody could touch it. The Kremen dumped it up off the board. That is Carson again, leaving it for Tuckett. He centered it. Canadians are covering up back there very well. And they pick it off and clear it down the ice with 3:40 to play in a period.
You know, both teams really respect the other's ability to strip that puck, so they're not taking any chances inside their blue line. Dump it out in the neutral zone.
Long pass off the boards, and Sotard had to be very careful with that one. A tricky play. The puck came right off the board. But Sotard was there to stop it. Bobby Smith goes in. Here's Robinson on the wing. Robinson moving up. Went in after it. Now it's centered again to Smith. And he was nailed in front of the net as he tried a weak backhander. Back out for Kerr. Rolled it up over the Canadiens line. Kerr has it in the corner. He centers it. Sotard, a nice leg save as he went down. At the blue line, it's kept him by Stanley. Now a pass, but that'll come over the line into the center ice area. Canadian top on it. Dahlin, he's going in there. Dahlin, he has Naslund over in front of the net. There's Naslund coming out. Oh, trying to pick that far corner and just missed. Puck rolls out into the center ice zone. Kerr's pass. Back there was Ludwig covering up. Coming in again. It's passed back near the line. Brown didn't see it. Now Smith for Montreal. Rolled it out to Swoboda. On the wing is Dahlin with Naslund taking the line. Naslund and Smith going in. Oh! Dahlin tried to hit it in midair and missed. Naslund very tricky again. Look at the work by Naslund. He fooled everybody, and a penalty coming up to Philadelphia. Sotard is on the bench. But now the call is made as Craven picks it up. And the Philadelphia Flyers get their first penalty of the hockey game.
And he just leveled Bobby Smith, and that's the second time that Smith has been knocked down in the shift. Actually, it was more of a hook than a slam. So the #1 power play unit, the Montreal Canadiens, operating at a 29% clip, will go to work against the second best penalty killing team in the league. You want to see some nifty work? Here's what happens when you go fishing for the puck instead of taking the man. But Naslund, he knows how to do it. He's very shifty individual. And sometimes, Bob, he'll make you look awfully bad.
He can do that. He can do that. Here's Smith to center. Smith, not bad stick handling himself. Rolled it off into the corner. The Canadiens on a power play will have to go back to start it again because here come the Flyers. McCrimmon on another rush for Philadelphia. Hangs on to it, set it up to Prop. Oh, what a save by Sotard. He stole one from the Flyers. And Naslund races in. Naslund, Herbers is up on the play. Tried to center it, and it was covered. But Naslund has the puck again on the board. Naslund fighting for it, trying to get it back. A shot by Gingras, a weak one. Just flipped into the goaltender. And Sotard, he has been hot. Came up with a big save on Prop seconds ago. As he had a bid for a short-handed goal. Reese in there for Canadians, and Tremblay with him. Tremblay stopping at the rim of the circle to Gingras. Tremblay will get a shot now, and that went off the leg. And the Flyers hop on it and clear it out and down the ice. Now, 40 seconds left in the penalty to Philadelphia. And here come the Canadiens. Robinson's pass to Dandy. Richer. He telegraphed it and went off Marsh into the crowd. Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada.
It's going to be late. No, it's not.
And a great period it is. Philadelphia and Montreal, no score. There have been many chances, though. Walter for Canadians against Ron Sutter of Philadelphia. Sutter winning the draw again. It comes in front, though. Here's a shot. Another shot. It's off the leg. Another shot. He scores. Canadians do get a goal on the power play and lead it 1-0.
Well, a tough break for the Flyers, but it all started from a face-off. Now look at the pile-up in front of the net. Brad Marsh is in there. He's trying to play goaltender. Richter comes in, and suddenly the puck just slithers over across that goal crease. Is that Dahlin that scored that one, Bud? The rookie, Shell Dahlin, puts the Canadiens on the board.
2 or 3 of them had a chance at a goal, but finally Dahlin knocked it home, and it's 1-0 Canadiens.
Les Canadiens sont 27e de la saison tournée moyenne au point. Canadiens goal is 27th of the year, scored by number 20, Shell Dahlin.
Dahlin, 27th of the year, 1933 of this first period. 15 seconds left in the period. Carbonneau bumps onto the board. McCrimmon, a neat play for Howe. He can shoot up. That shot is blocked in front of the net by Ludwig, and Gainey clears it out. That'll be it. As the Flyers grab the puck and the siren goes to end the period, then the law and order insisting on Dahlin's goal.
Well, that had a lot of everything. Good speed, good passing, good defense, highlighted by great goaltending.
So the score at the end of the first period is Montreal 1 and Philadelphia nothing.
Montreal, the homestanding Canadiens take a 1-0 lead. They outshot the Flyers 15-9, but they didn't score a goal until 27 seconds were left to play. Shell Dahlin for the Canadiens after a wild scramble close in, and it's 1-0 Montreal at the end of one here in Montreal. As far as the other games are concerned, in Toronto, they're in the first intermission there as well, and the Maple Leafs have the 1-0 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks, Wendell Clark's 20th goal of the season. New Jersey and the Islanders are tied 3-3. Mike Bossy has 2 goals for New York, 41 and 42 for Bossy on the season. Big scoring night in Pittsburgh for Doug Shedden of the Penguins. He has 3 goals. They are tied with Vancouver 4-4 in the second period. Gradin, Strico, Crawford, and LeMay have done the scoring for the Canucks. And in St. Louis, the Blues have taken a 1-0 lead over the Boston Bruins. Ron Flockhart doing the scoring for St. Louis. Set for the second period, upstairs again, Bob Cole and Gary Dornhofer.
Thank you, Dick, on the Dahlin goal. On a power play for Montreal, Dahlin's 27th of the season, the Canadiens lead 1-0. The teams now are at full strength, and the Canadiens, after first blood again here in the second period, shoot it in. Off the boards, and the Flyers are going to clear it just as quickly. Coming in is Carson. Carson gets his shot away. That's off his stick, and McPhee takes it into the corner for Canadians. McPhee around the net. Here comes Sutter checking him. Ron Sutter couldn't stop it. It rolled all the way to the Philadelphia line. Again, Ron Sutter at the blue line. Barely got on side. Here's Sutter near the line. Couldn't keep it in. Richter's long shot, and they didn't wait long enough before that shot went across the line. Sutter was offside.
Now we have a look at Richter there. Remember when Todd Bergen decided that he didn't want to play for the Philadelphia Flyers any longer? Well, they obliged him and sent him to Minnesota and got Richter in return. You know, the Montreal Canadiens scored on the power play, Bob, and that's something they do better than any other team in the league, so it's only natural if they're going to score, they might as well be via the power play.
The specialty teams are getting to be more and more important in the league these days. And the Canadiens in a dogfight for first place in this Adams division with Quebec have a great power play. Here's his shot that Sotard kicked out. At the line, Howe shot, that's blocked. Smith can't catch up to it though. McCrimmon hustling back. Robinson for the Canadiens has stopped near center. Now Mark Howe flips it back to McCrimmon. On the boards it goes to Prop, and he shoots it right to Robinson. Robinson played it ahead. He'll have to go back now as Bobby Smith was trapped just outside the line, and he had no place to go but back. Swoboda. He threw it up along the boards, and Dahlin nearly tapped it down. Out of the net comes Froze, taking no chances, giving it to Mark Howe. But the Canadiens are in there forechecking. It's centered on an open wing. Richer can't get there in time. Now he steals it and lost it. Then it comes back outside the line to Kerr, and he's in. Kerr for Philadelphia, breaking for the net. Kerr is stopped by Ludwig. He stayed with him. Now there's Kerr stealing the puck again. Kerr centers. Stanley shoots. That hit Naslin's stick. Philadelphia can't keep it in. Richer skating well tonight, handling the puck beautifully, dropping it back. A shot knocked away off his stick. Deblois set up by Richer. There's Richer pulled to the ice. A shot right in front. Deblois was robbed. Richer goes in. Whirls and fires, and that's bounced away from the net. Richer having a big turn for the Canadiens on this shift. Now he's going to the bench as the Habs make changes. Ryan Walter tossed it back. Ludwig for Canadiens gave it to Kervers. His pass through the middle slides down the ice. 1-0. The Canadiens lead it. From the Forum in Montreal, this is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. For the Canadiens. And here in the second, they've each had a shot on goal.
The scoring chances aren't uncharacteristic as far as the Flyers are concerned. They gave up far too many, Bob, and you know they had made a commitment to defense in all three zones. They weren't very good in their own end.
Nyland for the Canadiens, skating away to center, and Gainey is coming up on the play. There goes Gainey. He's in against Marsh. Gainey has the puck with Nyland helping. Nyland gets in front, can't shoot it though. Nyland chases it, centered. Oh, what a save by Froze on Carbonneau. Carbonneau thought he had the far side. Labels. But a great play by the Philadelphia goaltender, Bob Froze.
Well, right now, Froze is doing the job. He's keeping this game close because Montreal, they are just getting one scoring chance after another. And Froze, there it shows the concentration and how quickly he moves. You know, very important aspect for a goaltender to be able to move, anticipate, and he just stole one from Carbonneau on that play.
Oh, that was a great save.
But look at Carbonneau, how he gets away from his check. Flyers were a little slow in reacting, and that's what this game is. Read and react to a play. Give Carbonneau some credit to move into an open area where he can get a clean feed and get that good scoring chance.
And Froze skates out of the net. He wants, I believe, to go to the bench. No, he's going back in again. He had something to say to Dave Richter. And now we're set. Zessel wins the draw. Here's Marsh flipping it along the blue line. Pass back into the Philadelphia zone by Zessel. Dave Richter back to the net for it, and Marsh goes the other way. The Canadiens pick it off. Bobby Smith. Smith gets it back to Naslund. Once again, Darlene sees Smith there back of the net. And Richter is all over him, but Naslund has the puck. Centered it in the crease. And the Flyers just quickly get it out of the zone. Fired by Gingras. Back up the ice. There's Robinson. He got away from a check thrown by Zessel. Zessel falling to the ice on the plays. He tried to hit Robinson. Canadiens doing some good forechecking now. Sinisalo is bumped on the boards by a little Naslund. Canadiens keep it in. In the slot is Bobby Smith. Smith left it there. Smith gets it again from Robinson. Shooting. Here's Darlene. Darlene gets in there. He's dangerous. Darlene looking out. Darlene centers it. Here's a chance. Gingras. That's blocked. Heat on by the Canadiens now. Gingras again. Here's Darlene. Center. Score! Naslund. Boy, what pressure.
If you could model that concentrated attack and show it before every game, that was absolutely perfect, but it's amazing how the man without the puck kept getting himself in the clear. Keeps creating scoring chances, and they had the Flyers just running all over the place. They never did play good defense, and it was because of that good pressure, that persistence by Montreal. And when you have a couple of guys like Darlene and Naslund and Smith that can handle the puck, Bob, boy, that's all it takes.
Gingras played it very smart, too. He didn't try to shoot it. He had a shot earlier that hit a leg, and this time he decided to just flip it in. It went a little wide of the net, and you saw the result as Darlene centered, and Naslund scored 4:17, the time of the goal, and the Canadiens lead 2-0.
I remember Marsh was without a stick, too. He had blocked one shot, but he's playing without that stick in his hand.
Here's Markow now for Philadelphia. Shoots a long one in there. Rob got it back. A shot through. Knife just wide of the net. Craven trying to tip it in. Now he centers it in the crease. Canadians trying to cover up desperately now. The Flyers coming close. There's Craven again. Checked by Lawler. Ludwig allowed to move on the puck. Got it over where Gainey was checked. Carbonneau didn't see it. And Trop turns in the center ice area. Trop trying to stick handle it himself. And he stopped at the line. And the play is called. It's 2-0. Montreal, and now they're penalized.
Taurus, now a North American car with the shape and the feel we've never seen before. Taurus, now there is a personal car that has exactly what we've been looking for.
For all of us who will not compromise, Ford listened. Ford created Taurus for us.
Taurus! 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 Have you driven a Ford lately?
Lawler will draw the penalty as leading scorer Brian Propp was trying to get something going, penetrating that blue line, and he was hooked down. Propp right now has not scored a goal in 8 games. He's got 31 for the year. There you saw the takeout by Lawler. So the Flyers, Bob, I guess it's important for their game to get on the scoreboard here in their power play.
Second Canadian penalty tonight, and the second one for Mr. Lawler. This one for hooking here at 5:10 of the second period. Naslund has scored for the Canadiens, number 37 on the season for Mats Naslund. They give the Habs a 2-0 lead over Philadelphia.
Again, you see the Canadians using some big men on defense, Robinson and Ludwig, to take care of that Kerr. They've got to move him from in front of that net.
Ron Sutter is 14, Propp 26, that's Crossman 3 with the puck. Denisalo is 23, and Kerr is number 12 on the left side. The Flyers a little disorganized, go back to regroup and try it again. That pass, not a good one, and it's Devlois coming in there with Skrudland, and a good play by Crossman as he got his stick in front of the shot. Canadians on a 2-on-1 while shorthanded. Flyers get it moving now. Kerr from center fires one into the Canadian zone. There goes Ludwig. Here comes Ron Sutter. Denisalo on the boards in the corner. Denisalo goes back to the line. A long shot is not counted for another shot. That one up high. Crossman is in there, and so is Sotart. And the goaltender is there to hang on. Tonight's game is coming to you from the Forum in Montreal. We're up 2-0 on Philadelphia. Robinson having a chat with Carbonneau. Ron Sutter, number 14, has Kerr to his left. Tried to give it to Kerr on the draw, but Robinson was there watching big Kerr. Denisalo from the other side. Back to the line of Mark Howe. To Kerr! And he tried to whip it in quickly to the far corner and didn't get a very good shot away. At the blue line. Kerr gets the pass off the boards, gives it to Howe. Howe back to Kerr, back to Howe. He whipped it into Sutter. Sutter centered it through the crease. Denisalo covered. Propp is nailed by Gainey. Canadians fight to get it out of the zone, but it's Mark Howe into Kerr again. Kerr tried to jam it in on Sotart. Howe once more, great pressure by Philadelphia now. A pass in front, another pass. Sotart coming up big again. There's Propp. He'll go to Howe. Howe gave it away in there, but the Flyers jump on it. Howe again. Mark Howe at the blue line, taking a look around. Howe decides to fire it along the line. Propp gets rid of it. Now back to Howe. Shooting. Good save. Sotart. And the goaltender is keeping that puck out for Montreal.
You can't get it any more entertaining than we've had tonight. First, the Canadians put on a tremendous amount of pressure to end up scoring that second goal, and now the Flyers on the power play. How they move that puck around, and again, it's the man without the puck, moving into a scoring position and then finding that open man. Watch Kerr. It looked like he was going behind the net, hoping that Sotart would move away from that goal post. He didn't. Sotart came up with a save, and that's what something that Kerr does so well, is gets himself into position. If he's not screening the goalie, he gets away from his check. You notice his stick is very close to the ice, but as soon as it hits its stick, immediately it's released on net.
The magic of the Forum in Montreal. Even at the skate today, you could see the seriousness on the faces of these players. The Canadians were on at 10:30, and the Flyers came on at 11:30. It was all business. And it's carried over, I'll tell you, at 8 o'clock tonight.
You're right. You never think the Canadiens were the team that was in a slump the way they're playing.
There's a shot off the stick of Sotard. Poulin went after it in the corner. Poulin comes out front. Stopped by Ludwig. Flyers still after it. Another play through the crease. Curves there. But Trombley is going to clear it, and the penalty is over now. Canadiens have killed that penalty. McPhee was stopped, couldn't go in. Poulin turns and comes back in for Philadelphia. Smith in front of the net, and he is checked by Kerbers. Canadiens, two of them come out. McPhee couldn't hang on to the pass. Kerr turns, got rid of it in a hurry. Flyers trying to make changes now. Kerr going to the bench as he got rid of that one. Poulin on the board, stopped by Tremblay. McPhee over there rooting at it, and it goes into the Canadian zone. Sotard giving it to Kerber and shouting directions as the Flyers are in for checking. Tremblay missed the pass off the board. It was a tough one to handle. It came up behind him in a hurry. Rick Sutter drops it back for Philadelphia. Walter nearly picked that one off. He was close to it. Prop was stopped. Tremblay bumped him. The two players fall. Here's a long shot by Marsh off the glove of Sotard, and it goes into the crowd. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Forum in Montreal.
They always do a lot of line juggling, and that's what has happened. You saw Tremblay get knocked down, and he was complaining quite a bit to Hogarth. It should have been a penalty, but to no avail.
Now the face-off in the Montreal zone. Marsh, a screen shot, hit a couple of skates. Canadiens can't clear it. Gainey fell to the ice. They finally get it out. Nearing the 9-minute mark, second period, Canadiens lead 2-0. And the Flyers coming in looking for their first of the night. Prop is checked right away. The Canadiens, I'll tell you, are doing a great job coming back and picking up the Philadelphia Flyers. Gingras has to hustle on this one as Prop was in there. It's pushed down the ice by Gainey. He was grabbed from behind. Couldn't carry on. Philadelphia's Marsh back there. Bumped by Carbonneau. Carbonneau whacking at it on the boards is Marsh. He took another hit from Allen. Carbonneau is in there bumping for Canadians. And they're giving the Flyers something of their own medicine.
You're absolutely right. That's the way the Flyers have started. Now the Canadiens are starting to hit back and see how effective it is. It just disrupts any kind of flow that you can get going.
2-0 Montreal. Nearing the halfway mark. Second period. Robinson, who's having such a standout season, is back there to pick it up. And therefore icing is called against Philadelphia.
Well, you're absolutely right, Bob. When you talk about greatness and how an individual continually get himself ready physically and mentally for a game. Now, Robinson is certainly a leader in this hockey club. He is scoring goals. He's setting up plays. He's playing 35 minutes a game. You can't ask any more for an individual. Young players learn from veteran players. Robinson just has to go out on the ice and do his thing, and players will respond to that.
Norris, Cokie, maybe? He's in the running for the Norris, I'll tell you.
I think that's an excellent point, Bob. He certainly is.
There's Robinson. Flipped it in. Bobby Smith is in there. Darlene comes in. Naslund is there. Naslund now. He'll try to get it back. He does to Robinson. Robinson, a neat play to the far side. Then it rolls to the crease. Back to Kerbers. Another pass in the slot went wild into the corner. Darlene couldn't pick it up. Once again, Kerbers gets it in there. Naslund turning. Naslund takes a look. Put it in on the board for Darlene. He missed it. Smith is knocked down in front of the netminder, Bob Froese. And the Flyers are going to clear it out. A play comes to Ron Sutter coming in at Pocket. Pocket driving for the net to Sutter. He is checked. Sutter went after it behind the goal. Sutter now slides it in front, and the Canadiens are back there again, covering up.
The area that they're covering up is right in the slot, 15 feet out. There's no passes being made, or there's no open men in that area because Montreal players are there.
There's Prop trying a shot from a very difficult angle. In back of the net, Zezel chasing it for Philadelphia, and he finds it too. Zezel near the line. Can't make a play, though. He's checked. And Naslund shoots it off the boards and down the ice, and the Canadiens will make changes all around. They have lots of time because they're called now for icing. Now let's have this Hockey Night in Canada update for you, and here's Dick.
Well, in Toronto, where they've changed the first goal from Clark to Salming, Borja Salming gets in on the second Toronto goal. Power play, deflects off Salming and then off Peter Inachek. Daryl Sutter was in the penalty box. 2-0 Leafs early in the second period.
Boy, Chicago, I'll tell you, is having one heck of a time with the Toronto Maple Leafs there.
Are they ever?
And not many teams are in that position. But the Leafs seem to give Chicago fits. 9:18 left. Second period, 2-0 Montreal. And a great hockey game here at the Forum. Swoboda in the back of the net for Canadians. Little bit of skating room. Decides to shoot it down to the Philadelphia line. Cecil brings it back in with a shot. Sotard is very sharp tonight, covering on that one. Philadelphia coming up with it. It's centered. Sotard down again and kicked it away. Ryan Walter was back there trying to help him. DeBlois backhands it in for Canadians. Rose stopped it. Gave it to Crossman. Crossman's pass will go down the ice. Back there is Ludwig. Icing waved off. Prop is in there. Prop centers it, but the Canadians in front of the net. Ludwig clearing off the boards to center ice. DeBlois can't move on it. Richer was inside the line, and Walter had to hang on to it. Now Marsh gets away from a jam. He comes in for Philadelphia. Quick shot by Kerr. Kerr is bumped by Ryan Walter. Puck is out over the line again. Richer on the board, stopped by Smith. Richer knocked down, and the puck goes right into Sotard. 8:10 left in the period. The Flyers try to get their first goal on centering it. But the Canadians covering again, clear it out to center ice. Walter going to the bench. So is DeBlois. The Canadians changing quickly as Mark Howe comes in. Mark Howe at the line. Howe left it to Kerr. Quick shot stopped by Sotard. And I'll tell you, Kerr got that one away very, very quickly.
He was actually looking to the right side for a pass and then just fired it on the net, and very accurate.
Sotard now being careful. Kerr was standing in front of the goal. Lawler coming out from Montreal. A play to the left side. Skrudling shoots one in that throws Knights away with a stick. Canadians in after it. Skrudling turning in the corner. Centered it. But the Flyers intercepting was Tocchet. They get it out. Tocchet nearly picked it up, but again. Close call. That pass by Lawler. Now Tremblay and Skrudling are in there. Skrudling knifes it away, gets in after it, and throws has to go down to cover up for Philadelphia. Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada.
At the same time, when you're sitting on the bench waiting for your next shift, sometimes you get so mesmerized by those two players, you forget about who you have to replace when it's your turn to go. Two great individual defensemen.
Canadians lead this hockey game 2-0. The goals by Darlene and Naslund. Darlene in the first, Naslund here in the second. Philadelphia now coming in on the play. It's centered to Sutter. Sutter is knocked flat on the ice before he could get a shot away as Ludwig stepped into him. There's his shot wide of the Canadiens' net. Sutter after it again. That's Ron Sutter. Couldn't find it, and the Canadians, three of them come out, led by Smith, but that pass too far for Naslund on the left wing. Darlene was also up on the play. Now Smith in for checking. He's upended by the goaltender, Bob Froese. And Smith went into the boards rather heavily. Crossman is away, coming in for Philadelphia. He centered one. Ron Sutter chased it, centered it. Sotard again, put the glove on it. There goes Herbert now. And a strap is going to break out, I believe. The linesmen are trying to prevent it from happening. Tocchet was in there. And Herbert. I don't think they've stopped it yet. That's Ludwig and Sutter. And Tocchet, that's Tocchet 22 off to the left. And they're going to go at it, I believe. Tocchet and Herbert. And they'll get them apart, and that'll be it, I believe.
Notice how quickly Atheltine moved in there and took care of Tocchet. The strength of those linesmen.
From the Forum in Montreal, this is Hockey Night in Canada. The two players have gone to their respective dressing rooms, so we suspect they threw minors and majors. We'll see.
Well, it started just to the right of Bob Froese, where Bobby Smith was cruising around the crease, and it looked like Froese had given him the trip, and then the play went to the other end, and there was quite a mix-up in the Montreal end of the ice, where again both teams are really jamming in front of the goaltender, trying to stuff that loose puck. And Curvers and Tockett, the two combatants, as Bob had mentioned, each will receive 2-minute minor, 5-minute major, and we'll have a long rest.
With just 6 minutes and 20 seconds left. So as we said, the two players have gone to the dressing room. And the Canadiens still have that 2-0 lead. This program is copyright and restricted for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, distribution, or exhibition, in whole or in part, without the express written consent of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, is strictly prohibited. Canadians shoot it off the glass and down the ice. Gainey racing in, so Froese, seeing Gainey come in there, got out in a hurry. Froese fell. Just given a light bump by Gainey. Pass to the far wing. Kerr couldn't move on it. Canadians are back there picking it up. It's dumped near the line to center ice. McCrimmon gives it to Howe. His pass. Poulin in there with Kerr, and he has stopped at the Canadian line again. Carbonneau gets rid of it down the ice to goal. 5:45 to play in the second period. That is Bob Gainey. Can't keep it in, though. Poulin couldn't hang on to it. Gingras rifles one in. Wide of the Philadelphia net. Now the Flyers dump it out. Carbonneau ran into Craven as he did. Kerr is stopped. Couldn't carry by the defenseman Robinson. Now Robinson from Gingras. Got a pass on the boards, and the Canadians are away. Nyland is upended over there, and there's going to be a penalty to Philadelphia. Puck goes bouncing high, and the Flyers, Craven gets his stick on it, and here's the call, a penalty coming up to the Philadelphia Flyers. Hockey Night in Canada returns in a moment.
In the game, and then the tempers start to flare. Watch Carbonneau carry that puck up, and to the left of your screen was Poulin, who applied the trip. So again, the Canadiens will go on the power play. Nyland was dumped by Poulin. So Froese and company now, they have their work cut out.
That was Gainey going in there, checking on the goaltender. Froese. Gainey going after the puck, just brushed him likely.
Brushed him. Might put a little trip there, Robert.
Could have been. March. Philadelphia. That's a pretty good play for Sutter. Ron Sutter profits up on the play. And Big Robinson broke it up. But Sutter still looking for it. Falls on the puck. And play is called. There's a lively crowd again tonight here in the Forum. The capacity crowd, the attendance has been announced 18,098.
You know, there's something about when these two teams meet. Even 10, 15 years ago when I played, Bob, it didn't matter how you were playing, what kind of a streak you were in. When Montreal and Philadelphia got together, it was just something special about the game. And you really got excited about playing in that particular game. And that's what we've seen from these two hockey clubs. You know, you thought the Canadiens would be down because of losing 4 out of 5. That hasn't been the case. And they've really controlled a lot of this game and shut down the Flyers. And we've had excitement in all aspects of the game, but I like the contact we've seen. Good, clean hitting.
Darlene and Naslund, the goal scorers for Montreal tonight. Naslund here in the second period after Darlene had given the Canadiens a 1-0 lead after 1. Here's Croft trying to go in there. Gingras forces him back. Philadelphia now trying to hang on to it with 4:45 left of the period. And they can't afford, really, to give up another goal to the Canadiens at this stage. They have to hang on right now, try to kill this penalty. Here's Robinson. He's coming away. Naslund is there. Look out! He was nailed at center by Sinisalo. See that one coming in him, lined up for about 20 feet.
Yeah, but I don't think Sinisalo really is the type of individual that can hurt you. You know, he's not really a body checker, and you notice that Naslund didn't get knocked off his skate.
Now it's Craven. He tried to center it and was stopped, got it again. Craven hanging on to it, doing a pretty good job for the Flyers. Finally, Bobby Smith for the Canadiens. The lead pass to Naslund. Naslund grabbed it. Naslund cuts in there, jams on the brakes. Naslund now trying to set it up, and he will, to the side of the net to Robinson, into the corner, Smith, back to Swoboda, back to Smith and Naslund, and he failed to hit it properly, but he was set up perfectly. Naslund steals it again. He's having another great game for the Canadiens. Swoboda, his shot blocked, and the Flyers will shoot it down the ice. Just 15 seconds left in the Philadelphia penalty. Canadiens lead 2-0. Canadiens get as far as center, and the Flyers will send them back. Zessel is hustling in there. Zessel trying to jab it in there. Zessel again. The Canadiens had to hang on. Marsh has shot. That is blocked. And now the hand, Richer to center to Ryan Walter. Walter in with a shot. That's off the leg, and the Flyers clear it with 3 minutes left in the period. Still 2-0 Montreal. Here comes Richer. He's looked pretty smooth tonight for Montreal. Richer now had the puck hooked away from him, and Zessel for Philadelphia. Lost it to Dahlin. Swoboda is in there, head faking, throwing it up to the corner for Ryan Walter. He ran into Marsh. Zessel comes back to help. Richer ball center net. Dahlin is up and another penalty coming up to the Philadelphia Flyers. But Richer made a great play live on CBC Hockey Night in Canada. And he did it.
You're right, Bob. You know, you mentioned about Richer, what a great game he's having. He's controlled the puck. He skated quite well, and there he gets dumped out behind the net. And also, Dahlin was in front. He also gets tripped. There was only one penalty on the play. So the Canadiens, again, will go in the power play. And you can understand why they are number one in the league. The way they can move that puck, get themselves in scoring positions. Again, just like in basketball, the key word is the man without the puck, get himself away from the check. And then let the puck move around. Canadians do it better than anyone else.
And Naslund and Smith have been on the bench, so they're well rested. I shouldn't say well rested, but at least they've had a break. So they're on now for this power play for Canadians. As Robinson goes to Naslund. Naslund draws a player to him, maybe two. Then he centers it. It comes in the crease. And Bobby Smith goes back to the corner, to the line. Gingras to Smith. Again back to the line to Naslund to Gingras. Gingras to Bobby Smith. Canadians whip it around in there. Flyers set up the box. Keep it on the outside. And finally, Trop steals it. Pretty good play by Philadelphia. And Trop goes up to the Canadiens line.
Actually, Smith made a pretty good play. What he was doing is trying to go at an attacker, make him come at Smith, and then try to feed one of his wingmates.
There's Smith going in himself now. He's forced back a bit. Robinson barely kept it in. A shot kicked away by Froese. Smith again. Smith gets away from Poulin. Smith in the corner. Poulin now hammers him in on the board. Nyland went in there to help. And Robinson hooked it back somehow to Naslund. Gingras shooting. Goal! What a bullet by Gingras. And it's 3-0 Montreal.
I think Froese is awfully fortunate that that bullet didn't hit him. You know, he was coming out in a challenging position. But Gingras, who is noted for an explosive shot, that's something that he does better than anyone, Bob. And boy, does he rifle that puck.
Fans here standing, applauding the Canadiens' power play. So watch it again.
Here it comes from the top of the circle. You notice Froese is out there to challenge. As soon as he saw Gingras' head drop, he just came out, but Gingras just blew it right by him. That number one power play strikes again. That's 2 out of 3.
Canadiens' goal is 4th of the year, scored by number 29, Gaston Gingras. Assisted by number 26, Matt Naslund. Even Milotista and number 19, Larry Robinson.
Naslund and Robinson assisting on the goal. 18:28 the time, and it's the second power play goal of the night for the Canadiens. They're leading 3-0. Long shot stopped by Froese. Off the stick of McPhee. And the Flyers to center, led by Ron Sutter. There's Rich Sutter's shot. Sotar sharp, moving to the near side. The step back.
Here we have a look at Rich Sutter, 5'11", 165 pounds. He was a first-round pick by Pittsburgh, and he really was having a very difficult time in Pittsburgh, so the Flyers got a hold of him to join his brother, and through most parts they have played on a line together, but tonight Keenan is doing a lot of line juggling, trying to get some kind of attack going and get on the scoreboard. Perron must be very pleased, Bob, after your conversation with him. He looked like, my goodness, what are we in for tonight? But his club has really excelled.
Well, they lost their last two games by 1 goal. Minnesota and New Jersey. Now we've got a penalty called now, I believe, against the Canadiens. The cross-checking penalty is called. I would think somebody tried to get Tim Kerr out of the crease area, and did.
Kerr had some words with Sotar.
And Swoboda is heading over there. And it's going to be, yes, Swoboda to the box. Here he is. So this comes with only 53 seconds left in the period. And Gary, that old cliche again. We got to get one now. Got to take something positive to the intermission. And something positive for Philadelphia would be a power play goal here.
Well, you have to get that draw first, and again, Kerr will set up shop in front. You know, the Canadiens are best not to wear themselves out trying to get Trop out of there or get Kerr out of there, because it's just about impossible to do that. I think the one way that they can be effective is to try to hang on to a stick or lift his stick as the shot is directed at the net. Do the best they can so that he can't get that rebound. That's where he really becomes dangerous.
Okay, 53 seconds left in the period, and the Flyers looking for a goal. They're trailing 3-0. Canadiens have scored 2 power play goals in this game. And this time the Canadiens get it out of the zone and down the ice. 40 seconds left in the period. Markow starts from the blue line with a pass in behind Ron Sutter. Sutter has it, though. He's checked, but Tim Kerr is on the puck for Howe and Sinisalo. Howe dropped it back. Howe gets the pass again. The Flyers in on top of it. Out to the line it comes. Trop doesn't shoot it. Sutter in the corner gives it a Trop again. Trop winds up. The shot hit his skate. Now Sutter to Trop the second time. Another shot, and it's deflected off a pair of skates, and then the Canadiens get it out and down, and they will kill the period with that play. There's the siren to end period number 2.
Well, again, another very entertaining period as the Canadiens add 2 more, and they've got a solid lead right now going to that third period.
3-0 Canadiens. Coming up next, a World Hockey Report with George Gross, and coming up now, here's Dick Irvin. Goodbye. And the third period is underway. The Canadiens shorthanded. Swoboda in the penalty box. He has a minute left to serve in that penalty. 3-0 Canadiens. Carbonneau penalty killing again, forcing the Flyers into an error in their own zone. Now they work it loose. That's Trop passing it up on the left side, and Markow is away, shooting it off the boards. For the Canadiens, Lawler back there first. Trop from the blue line. Can't shoot it. Sutter gets it back to him. Now Trop with the shot. That's off the post. Goes slipping into the corner on the board. Flyers hang on to it. Sinisalo to Trop to Sinisalo. Sinisalo coming in. He hit a leg with a shot. Flyers on the puck on this power play. Out front it comes. Sinisalo to Trop. Back to him. A shot. And covering on the short side was Sotar. Trop keeping it in. Trop gets away from Carbonneau to Sinisalo. Sinisalo looking around, back to Trump. The penalty is over. Here's Sinisalo shooting it, and there's Doug Sotart. And he blocked it on the short side. I'm not sure if the puck were down the net or into the side of the net, but anyway, the goaltender grabbed it.
Well, Sotart has been exceptional tonight, Bob, and it seems he's been in position all the time. He's not flopping. He's in a challenging position, square to the shooter, and hasn't made himself or get himself into a difficult situation.
Canadian penalty has been served. The teams are at full strength. And are getting ready for a face-off to the left of Doug Sotart. And we welcome you people who've been watching the Chicago Maple Leaf game in Toronto to this one in the Forum. I'm Bob Cole, along with Gary Dornhofer, Dick Irvin, and Don Cherry. And the Canadians are leading here 3-0. Goals by Darlene, Naslund, and Gingras. Two of the goals coming on the power play for Montreal, but it's been a dandy hockey game tonight. Here's Tremblay. He's knocked to the ice, and there's going to be another Philadelphia penalty. And that could be murder for Philadelphia because the Canadians' power play throughout this season and tonight especially has been very, very sharp.
Well, that's one of the few times where the Flyers have given up a 2-on-1 break. Now keep an eye on Craven coming from behind. Instead of just putting on the speed and trying to catch him, he's hooking from behind, and that's just a lazy way of doing it. So he'll draw the penalty, and as Bob had mentioned about the power play of the Canadiens, they scored 2 out of 3 chances.
Hooking penalty to Craven.
Number 32, Murray Craven. 2 minutes for hooking at 1 minute 39 seconds.
1:39, the time of the penalty. There's the man who's been sharp tonight for the Canadiens, Doug Sotart.
Now the goal that Gingras got on the power play the last time, he had so much room. There was really a mix-up defensively by the Flyers. They'll have to pay attention to him.
Ryan Walter miscued, and the Flyers will clear the zone with the puck. Pass goes into the Montreal zone, and after it, Poulin along the board. He lost it, and the Canadians get moving again. There's Naslund, who's had another strong game for Montreal. He has a goal and 1 assist. Sotart out of the net, trying to chop that one away, and he did. Philadelphia covering. They come back in there. That's Mark Howe. Howe shot, scores! Mark Howe, he was being checked on the play, but he somehow shook it off and got a quick wrist shot away.
Robinson is having such a tremendous season for the Montreal Canadiens. Mark Howe for the Flyers. That was his goal number 19, but you're going to see Howe intercept the pass around center. Now watch how he's hacked from behind by Walter. Hack, and he keeps his concentration and somehow slips the puck right through the legs of Sotart. But there's good concentration that you have to have. Even though he's hooked from behind, he just works in, finally picks a spot and puts it by Sotart, and there goes the shutout.
A good shot by Mark Howe here at 2:11 of the third period, and a short-handed goal for Philadelphia, keeping the Flyers' hopes alive. However, they are still short-handed. The Canadiens, Smith, Tremblay, and Richer. Flyers get it up to the Canadian zone. Naslund going back, Sutter after him. It's centered, but Naslund picks it off and skates away for Canadians. Naslund bringing the crowd to its feet again. He's going in, looking around. Naslund maneuvering the puck beautifully. A pass in front. Richer is stopped by Froze. A little pushing and shoving. The Flyers thought maybe Richer came a little too close to the goaltender. Gloves go flying, and some players. Tremblay usually in the middle of things like this, but Richer was the aggressor from the Canadian side. And he'll likely get a penalty, and I think Mark Howe of Philadelphia will also go. From the Forum in Montreal, this is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
Something's wrong.
A search for sunken treasure turns to terror.
Up the pressure.
On the Beachcombers. Sunday on CBC television. Mummy curses Louis on Seeing Things.
All those who would remove me from this place will be cursed to the generation.
Is the curse of the mummy coming true? Is Louis the next victim? The Eyes of Ra on Seeing Things, Sunday on CBC television.
Number 10, Brad McCrimmon, and to the Canadiens, number 44, Stéphane Richer. 2 minutes
well, let's
each
keep
for
an eye
at 2
behind
minutes, 37
Bob Froese.
seconds.
You see him make the save, but that's when all the trouble starts then with Richer and Howe. Howe is over the left side, and Richer gets knocked down. And he has a few words and drops the gloves. Whenever all is said and done, Howe and Richer go to the penalty box.
There's Robinson trying to center it. Tremblay gets loose in there for Montreal. Gives it to Smith. His pass is stopped. Naslund working it around again beautifully. Back to Robinson. Robinson fakes the shot. Gingras on this side. Rolled it into the corner. Naslund comes up with it again. Naslund back to Robinson. Robinson shoots. And that hit a stick in front of the net. And the Flyers get it out. Dave Poulin, killing a few seconds, decides to go back in with it. Poulin now backhands it high at the Philadelphia bench, and the play is called.
One of the things that the Flyers are going to have to do in this third period, you know, for much of the game, they try to feed the pass in the slot. The Canadiens have taken that away. They have really been good defensively in that area. In the second period, Bob, the Flyers did not register one shot from the point. So perhaps try to feed that point a few more times.
The goal by Mark Howe here in the third period for Philadelphia. A shorthanded goal, and that's number 6 on the season for Mark Howe, which ties him with Paul Coffey of Edmonton, who also has 6 shorthanded goals.
Now, Mike Keenan, he really stresses the likes of Howe when he has an opportunity of going to the offensive zone, just go ahead. Because of the Flyers are very disciplined in covering them up. Robinson, the same thing for Montreal.
Now that's Darlene and Robinson. Back to Darlene. Cecil after him, and he knocks the Montreal player down. Now Ryan Walter falls. Cecil, not by Walter, but then it's cleared down the ice by Brad Marsh. And the Philadelphia penalty. The Craven is over. Montreal moving out. Nyland knifed it in. Just deflected it in toward the net. Crossman's pass. That'll be stopped by Skrudland of Canadiens. He didn't wait long enough, though. Nyland is trapped on the offside. And it's called live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada.
Don't mind the snow, don't mind the sleet. I'm warming up to match-free sweets.
Don't care what news the weatherman's got. There's instant prizes on the spot. He'll try his luck for $1 million.
And thousands more.
At the lottery store.
Match 3 sweeps with instant prizes up to $10,000.
And match 3 sweeps is the game for me. Warm up this winter to the instant lottery.
They're just about at the 4-minute mark of the third period. The Canadiens 3, Philadelphia 1. Mark Howe, the marksman for the Flyers here in the third period. While his team was shorthanded. Starts the play. Kerr shoots it in. Sotart plays it high on the glass. It comes to Howe. His shot. Knocked down in front of the net by Ludwig, but that's a glove pass. Ludwig had stopped it with his glove. And then a teammate went after it.
We had mentioned before that there are quite a few Flyer fans in attendance at tonight's game. I don't think those were 2 of them, but we can see as from our broadcast position that they're wearing Flyer sweaters with the logo in front. They're scattered all over the place.
I think they said there were about 200 or a little more up in Philadelphia for this game. And their team needs some encouragement now with time running out here in the third period. They're down 2 goals. But they've been coming on. Markel getting them their first goal here in the third. A short-handed effort for Howe. Here's the play coming off the board. Lawler is stopped immediately, and the Flyers are in after it. A shot by Rich Sutter was stopped. Lawler flattened him as he took the shot. Markel again back there for Philadelphia. Howe gets set. Deblois watching him. The pass up along the boards, and Kerr can't trap it. Kerr has the puck now, holds it with his skates. Krugland trying to stop him. Puck rolls in over the line, but it is called. A little pushing and shoving. And the linesman, they're right there to break it up before anything happens. And they've got him settled. Now, let's go for this Hockey Night in Canada update to Dick Irvin.
Well, they say if you wait long enough on a busy night in the NHL, you'll get a goal from a Sutter. It happened in Toronto. Daryl Sutter with a good individual effort after only 18 seconds of play. In the third period, the Hawks have come from behind 3-0, and the game is tied 3-3.
And Leaf fans are saying, uh-oh, here we go. Or there it goes, something like that. Howe for Philadelphia, put it right in where Robinson waited for it. Howe bumping Gainey, but the Canadiens are going to get it out. Carbonneau carrying the puck. He's going in with Nyland, dropping in behind. Nyland takes his shot away wide, high on the glass. And Mark Howe back for Philadelphia, bumped by Carbonneau. Canadians can't keep it in. It went off the skate of Gainey down the ice, and Swoboda has to hurry back because here comes Jessel. Jessel caught him back there, but Robinson got it out on the board to Carbonneau. Carbonneau coming in. Carbonneau looking around, centered it. Marsh covered up. It's played back in front, and Craven steals it for Philadelphia. It hit Robinson's stick, and he didn't see it. Craven carries on. Craven is bumped by Swoboda. Still going, though. Kropp gets in front. Here's Crossman. His shot is blocked, and the Canadians dump it out. Gainey moving up after it, but he won't get there in time. Marsh plays it back to Craven. Philadelphia getting a goal here in the third. They're trailing Canadians down 3-1. Here comes Robinson playing it out. To Darlene, to Naslund. Naslund and Bobby Smith going in. Here's Bobby Smith, but the puck went away from him, right to the netminder and froze. Cleared it with the stick. Not out, though. Canadians, Naslund again stealing it. Played it in for Ludwig. Ludwig turns, has to get rid of it. And Tim Kerr was back there for Philadelphia. Kerr stopped by Darlene. Again, Ludwig pinching in. Ludwig fired it in for Bobby Smith. Darlene goes in there to help. But the Philadelphia Flyers will get it out. Derek Smith played it to center. Canadians steal it again. They're checking more closely now as Naslund is in after it. Naslund tried to center it. Had his stick lifted by Howe. There's Naslund again, number 26. He grabs it. Naslund is checked. Stays with it. But the Flyers are going to bring it out. Tocchet goes to center. Tocchet pass to Smith, and his shot wide. Sutter in after it. The puck hit Gingras and bounced into the corner. Deblois misses it.
Canadians just still, Bob, are doing an outstanding job of just slowing the Flyers down. They have just shut off each zone, and they're just not giving up any scoring chances or calls for Sotar to make any really tough saves.
Look, now Sutter was nailed by Gingras at center ice. Ron Sutter is slow getting up, but let me tell you, he's up. And he's a tough piece of goods. He ran into Ryan Walter after being hit hard at center. How about that?
Isn't that what the game's all about?
Tocchet jumped into the line. Ryan Walter took the high one in and hit Marsh's stick. The play continues, though. Sutter down the board. Sutter got away from it. Seth Robinson tried to nail him. Sutter is hit by Ryan Walter. Boy, what action now. They're throwing their weight around here in the third period. They've hit the 8-minute mark. It's 3-1, Montreal. An old-fashioned hockey game tonight at the Forum. All going at it now. There's Carbonneau in there for checking. Sinistano, a play to the line. Poulin brings it in with Kropp. Dropped it to Kropp. Rolled it back in front of the net. Here comes Mark Howe again. He falls. Canadians, three of them get out of there. Carbonneau going in. Gainey for the net. Gainey had his stick lifted by the speedster. Trop got back, and he's going the other way just as hard. Here's Trop breaking for the net. Gets in front. Philadelphia turn the heat on now. They're really going at it here in the third, and the Canadiens another three-man rush. Wave after wave, both ways. Here's Carbonneau, spun around and sent flying. And the Flyers get it out of the zone. And in it goes. Trop on the board. Robinson for the Canadiens. At the 9-minute mark of the third, it's still 3-1 Montreal. In a dandy hockey game here at the Forum. Robinson played it to Strudlin. Nice play for Gainey. Gainey coming down with Tremblay at the blue line, dropping it. Tremblay shooting. That hit a leg. Bounces to the side. And Ron Sutter is going to clear it. Rich Sutter played it to center. Ron went after it. But the Canadiens have it again. McPhee bumped by Ron Sutter. They do not stop these Sutters. You can nail them all you want, and they'll come back at you.
They sure do. Again, Bob, just watch the flow of players are never standing still. They're always in motion.
And that means all of them. They're all gone. No stop at all in this third period. Canadians, McPhee gets it over on an open man. Tremblay couldn't get there in time. Rich Sutter backhands it in, near the line. Gonna be offside, he didn't pull it in. So the play continues. The Flyers battle hard now to get back into this one. They're trailing 3-1. Canadiens get going again. At center, McPhee shoots it in. There goes Mark Howe with Darlene in pursuit. But Howe, a beautiful skater, gets to the blue line. Darlene still after him. Settle bringing it in. Per quick shot. And Sotar says, we got to slow this down, guys. And he hangs on. This is Hockey Night in Canada from the Forum in Montreal.
When brewing's an art, you both have tasted right from the start. And you gotta know the steps you can do. Make it come true with light taste. Let's set it apart. Molten light has got heart.
This one's got it.
You see both coaches are getting to the nitty-gritty right now with only 9:36. Keenan needs some goals, so look for his better players to see more ice time. Go with more defensemen. Defensemen pinching in a lot more. Anytime you do that, of course, we know that with the Montreal Canadiens speed, you're going to get those 2-on-1s against you.
Robinson for Montreal can't move it out of the zone. Proxon, the defenseman, kept it in, but two players over there pushing and shoving. It was gloved ahead, apparently. And they'll bring it outside the line.
Be some good news for Montreal because it looked like Naslund had really slowed down considerably the length of the schedule. He's not really a big man, and he's been getting bumped around quite a bit. But tonight, he has looked his old self, Bob. He's managed to score a goal, get involved in another, and has put on quite a show for the Montreal Canadiens. Matt Naslund.
Lawler hammers one on the board. Lawler has to get it out himself if he can, and he can't do it. Trop is in after Robinson. Darlene in there to help. Here comes Kerr. Bobby Smith moving back. It's McCrimmon now closing in. Shoots! A hot shot stopped by Stokeside. And the goaltender on loose there for a moment, and he grabbed it.
You ever see so many bodies on the ice in one game? I mean, the hits have just been coming over and over and over again, and now it's the Flyers applying the pressure. You notice how Kerr moved away from in front of the net. He moved to the side, but he was well covered to the front of the side of the net, and that's the scouting report, too, for the Canadiens. They know that he's dangerous, and they have to pay special attention to him. Sotar had a good view of it, and how quickly he covered up his the rebound.
Doug Sotar is showing me tonight that he's the #1 goaltender here in Montreal. He is playing the angles perfectly, and he's showing quick hands. He hasn't been down that much.
That's right, Bob, but also, you know, he's had the forwards coming back, and the defensemen have cleared the rebound. The Flyers are not getting that second shot on net, and that's a killer. When you get that second and third shot against your goaltender.
Philadelphia looking for a goal here. It would be a big one if it comes. Tucker takes the shot. It's still 3-1 Montreal with 9 minutes left in the third period. That's Nyland going in there for Canadians. It's outside the line. Ludwig has to wait. Flyers jump on right away. They didn't have much time to make the play. Nyland has to wait for Gainey, and he did not wait long enough. Crossman, if he goes back, they'll call it. He does not, so they allow the play to continue. As the Flyers bring it outside the line, and they shoot it in. This could be icing. Ludwig hustling back, and he did touch it in time, and it's icing called against Philadelphia. Well, they've got lots of action again this Saturday night, and you know, we look down the road 7 days, and we'll have more of the same because another Adams Division matchup here at the Forum. The Slumping Whalers are in, and Boston will be in Edmonton.
Above the Hartford Whalers, they have to start getting things together again. I know the loss of Francis is severe, but as a team, they have to come together and start winning some games because they're certainly not out of that playoff hunt. Contact, that's what this game is about. Even the helmet falls off. I don't think you want to make contact with the boards, though. You want to hit the player.
And they're not that easy to hit, but I'll tell you, a lot of them have been hit tonight.
But it's been clean.
Oh, dandies. Good, solid checking. And in the center ice zone. Boom, boom. Sutter had been nailed twice, got back up and went after somebody.
You talked about Sotard. Here he gives Sutter a little glove, and then I said, hey, what can I tell you? You know, you're around my crease. A little message. Sutter just looked at him and skated away.
8:27 to play in the third period. Montreal 3, Philadelphia 1. Flyers. Kremen off the boards with it. Ryan Waller checked his man. Richer got a pass away, but it was in behind the Canadian player Deblois, breaking for the net. Kerr shoots it down the ice for Philadelphia. Robinson in a hurry. Poulin steals it, comes in. Quick shot, ripped wide of the Montreal goal. But Kremen kept it in there for Flyers. Now Ryan Walter hooks a high one out, down the ice for Deblois. Mark Howe is back there.
You know, Keenan's got Prop and Kerr together on a line, trying to get their top scorers on one unit, see if they can generate.
Kremen in for Poulin. He centered it. Kerr was in front of the net, but so was Big Robinson. Robinson playing another strong game for the Canadians. Goes in behind the goal. Looking around. Kerr is parked in front of the net. A pass. Richer near center, couldn't hang on to it. And Philadelphia coming on again. Cecil shoots it in. Howe has scored for Philadelphia here in the third. A shorthanded goal, and it's 3-1. With Deblois obviously wanting a change. Shoots the puck down the ice, and that's icing. With a score, Montreal 3, Philadelphia 1. We'll return in a moment.
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. I need to laugh, and when the sun is out,
You'll love the way Mercury Topaz hugs the road.
laugh about, I feel good.
And with air conditioning at no extra cost, you and your sunshine will feel good in a very special way.
Good day, sunshine.
Bob Cole with Gary Dornhofer in the broadcast booth at the Forum in Montreal, along with Dick Irvin and Don Sherry. And a real dandy tonight, Philadelphia and the Canadians.
Well, the Flyers, they hired Paul Holmgren, a former player and teammate of mine, and he said before the game, I couldn't believe the amount of time that coaches put in their job. You know, that's 14, 15 hours a day going over systems, going over replays, going over videotapes, trying to get your team prepared for a game. So this is a different situation for him.
He's also assisting one of the more thorough individuals in the league, Mike Keenan. I would imagine that would require a full day. Mike comes to work, that's for sure.
And the players, they're out there for a game or a practice in 2 hours, they're at home. That isn't the case for the coaching staff.
Laboda on the boards with it, not out. Stanley kept it in. Now Tremblay just whipped it down the ice. It's waved off by Leon Stickle, the linesman on this side. No icing. 7 minutes left, third period. Montreal 3, Philadelphia 1. Flyers coming to center. It's dumped into the zone by Craven. Canadians are all back there now. They'll take very few chances. If they can help it, and they'll just dump it out.
And you notice how that's all exactly what they're doing. If they're in trouble, is just dumping it over that blue into safety area. McPhee has really come on for the Canadiens, and what he does is give the team a lot of strength along the boards and in the corners, and every hockey club has to have at least one guy like that on the line. Not everybody can be a scorer, and you have to have the type of individual that will barrel into the corners and then come up with that puck once in a while. And McPhee is that sort of individual.
Well, Gary, the Sutters are back out there. Ron, number 14 at center. Rich Sutter, 15.
Well, that's the first time he's had them together since that first period. But watch out now.
Derek Smith is the other man up front for Philadelphia. Smith is 24, went after it for the Canadiens. Cleared out and down the ice again. Froze decides to leave the net as Gainey was coming in. There's Nyland, but there's Ron Sutter. Sutter was bumped over there, and the Canadiens forechecking, stopping this line before it can get going. Canadiens in there with a shot was Gainey. Went up high. Nyland on this side is bumped lightly. Rick Sutter gets it out. Smith is stopped. Gainey will shoot it back in. Just the soft one in on the board. He goes to the bench immediately. 6:15 remaining third period. Canadiens 3. Flyers 1. Philadelphia shooting it in. Showtime. Strong game tonight for the Canadiens. Flipping it there for Robinson. Robinson's pass. Near the line. Here comes Nyland. He's alone now. Nyland scores! Nyland giving the Canadiens a 4-1 lead, and Robinson spotted him from the other end of the rink.
That was a deflected puck that went way up in the air, and I think the Flyers defenseman Stanley, he really lost sight of it. Here it comes up in the air. Where is it? Nyland keeps right on going, and Stanley, he's in hot pursuit, but no way. But what a move Nyland makes. I mean, he just turned Froze inside out and went to the backhand, and watch this. He had him beat all the way. But Nyland, he kept going. To his credit, he didn't slow down.
Scored by number 30, Chris Nyland.
Kerr is in there for Philadelphia, centering it. Crossman feeds one in. There's Kerr, and he was stopped. Another shot didn't make it to the net. Bobby Smith chased it to the corner. 3 Canadiens come out. This is a 2-on-1. Dahlin and Naslund. Naslund went in. Dahlin. And it was cleared away before he could shoot it, but here's Swoboda driving it. Stopped by Froze. The Canadiens lead 4-1 and nearly have another one right there. Smith back to center. Dumped it up along the boards. Flyers, Thompson, back in with it. Trop can't reach that pass. Dahlin tipped it for Naslund. Smith catching up. Naslund going for the net. Centered in and a went in behind Bobby Smith. 2 Philadelphia players went flying as Naslund got away from them. 4:50 to play in the third period, and the fans begin that song again. They feel it's over, but here's Cecil scoring. Cecil picking the far side, and you better hang on to that song for a bit, because the Flyers, they do not quit. They're back in it again, down just 2 goals.
That's been the history of the Flyers, though, Bob. They never do quit. They just keep right on working. But watch this pass come to Cecil, and you know, you talk about how important it is to shoot the puck in one motion. And Cecil makes a good play here, playing the off wing, left-hand shot, and slides it. It wasn't an overpowering shot, but the location was absolutely perfect. And it looked like Sotard was thinking the shot was going to come to his glove side, and went to the stick side and beat him cleanly. So back within 2 again.
Cecil's 14th at 15:50. After Nyland had scored in 14:06.
Assisted by number 26,
well, I know one thing. If Cecil would have hesitated a little bit there and taken some more time, he would have been checked on the play. So it's important to release that puck as quickly as possible, not to allow your goaltender to get set on the play.
Here comes Craven now for Philadelphia. Canadiens trying to protect a 2-goal lead now. Seconds ago, it was a 3-goal lead. And Walter is up after it. He has stopped. Richer waits for Deblois to come out. Now gives it to him. Pretty good pack. Deblois couldn't get a good shot away, though. Now we have 4 minutes left, third period. A goal now for Philadelphia would be just great for the Flyers. Coming in, Gingras hooked it over for Tremblay, and he dumped it out of the zone. Riche going up after it. And following the play, Robinson, and he's on the move. Robinson going in there. Beautiful play. Here's another pass back. Robinson was going back to cover at the blue line and could move on it. Rick Sutter and Conklin come in from Philadelphia. Sutter along the boards, bumped by Robinson. Lawler's in there for Canadians. He was stopped. Once again, Skrudland to Tremblay. He checks his man. Puck rolls to the line. Crossman keeping it in. 3:20 left, third period. Robinson cannot get it out. He goes back to Summerlin. Tocchet. Sutter's shot, a weak one wide. Tocchet again looking for it. Into the corner. He left it there. Another shot right in front of the net. And Rich Sutter was left unguarded for a moment. Then Robinson moved at him. Here's Mark Howe. A shot. Down goes Sochard. And the Canadians had to get it out, and they do. Down the ice. 2:50 to play in the third period. Philadelphia pulling out all the stops now. They're within 2 goals of the Canadians. And Trop is in there again. Kerr over in front of the net. There goes Kerr after the puck in the corner. 2:40 to play. Pulling back of the net. Centered it. It's deflected. McCrimmon coming in. McCrimmon driving for the goal. Tried to set up Kerr. And Howe at the blue line failed to keep it in. Carbonneau got it away down the ice. Philadelphia with 2:24 to play in the third period, trailing Canadians by 2 goals. Trying to get a little bit closer now. Zessel going in. He's bumped off the puck. Ludwig left it there. Skrudland cleared it out very carefully to Nyland. Now Crossman back up for Philadelphia. Decides to go back in. He saw Nyland coming at him. 2 minutes left, third period. And Trop is back with Crossman to Zessel. Zessel feeds it up to the Canadian line. They're in between the 2 blue lines now. The Canadians would love to keep them there, but not for long. It's cleared in by Philadelphia. Crossman stopped it up the line. Here's Craven's shot. Stopped by Doug Sochard. He's on the spot now for the Canadians. Sochard is, and he covers up. This is Hockey Night in Canada on CBC.
13-letter word for profit.
Time on your hands, Grouper?
Finished a little early, Chief.
Processed the Alberta orders?
Done.
Qualified the Manitoba lead?
Done.
Made that big Halifax sale?
All done, thanks to telemarketing, the best of technology.
With the warmth of personal contact. So, the word for profit is?
Telemarketing, of course.
Grouper, take the rest of the day off.
Thanks, Chief.
Telemarketing. Today's way to operate.
We've seen one heck of a hockey game tonight here. Dorney at the Forum. Darlene scoring first for Canadians. Then Naslund and Gingras the second made it 3-0. Howe a shorthanded goal here in the third. Then Nyland, now Zessel, and it's 4-2. And the netminder, Froese, is going to the bench with 1 minute 33 seconds left.
Why not?
All right.
Why not?
18,098 are here watching.
Bob, it's very important now that the Flyers have to have real good puck pursuits. I mean, they have to have 2 men on that puck all the time and then really try and feed the point. I would think that they would be open more so than in the slot. The Canadians will try to bottle up that slot and keep that area covered. Let's watch.
All right, Ron Sutter, Poulin, Kerr, McCrimmon. All in there, but the Canadians are going to clear it out. Mario Tremblay dumped it on the boards down the ice.
Smart play. Tremblay could have tried for the open net, but he just elected to get it over that red line.
Okay, Ludwig back there. Ludwig on the boards for Tremblay. Not out. Mark Howe shot. They score! A shot from the blue line was tipped in front of the net. And don't leave us now. 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the third period. And these Flyers are something else. They've come back now to within 1 of Montreal.
Well, we talked about feeding the points. Now, it's good to feed the point, but somebody has to get in front. Look at how quickly Howe gets a wrist shot away. Not a hard shot, accurate on the ice. Sutter's in front to get it.
Tonight's game is coming to you from the Forum in Montreal.
Get the taste that'll stop you cold.
got the goal from Mark Howe at 1850. And you see Froze parked about 30 feet in front of the net. And you see the coach, Mike Keenan, right into it. If the Flyers can move it in one more time, you'll see Froze take off for the bench.
We're going to find out how quickly Froze can skate. They say goaltenders have a lot of speed. We're going to find out.
All right, it's 4-3 now, Canadiens. A minute 10 left. Want to wrap up to a fine game. Flyers shoot it in, and Froze has gone to the bench, but they're offside up the line. So the puck will come outside the line for this next face-off.
Oh, we got trouble. Yeah, we're in terrible, terrible trouble. We gotta fix these cars and make them run like new. Oh, the idle car is trouble's playground trouble. Oh, we got trouble. Right here in River City. Right here in River City. With a capital T and it rhymes with C and that stands for car. That stands for car. Oh, yes, we got trouble, trouble, trouble. Oh, yes, we got trouble. We're gonna fix that trouble. What an E. Double S-O. That's velvet.
No trouble. Well, we're down to this. A one-goal hockey game and a minute 4 left in the third period. The shots tell it all now. It's even just about. Canadiens 28, Flyers 27, and they're a goal apart. So now, as the Flyers get the draw and shoot it in, we have 1 minute left in regulation time. But Philadelphia coming on strong now. Sotart watching the play move to the corner and went over the glass into the crowd again. And now only 53 seconds left in regulation time. On Sutter's goal here from Howe at 1850 after Zezel had put a little life into the Flyers with his goal at 15-15. Nyland, just before, had scored the 4th of the night for the Canadiens, and it looked like it, but it isn't. Not yet.
That's what they talk about experience, how valuable that is to have the experience of Howe on defense. A lot of defensemen would have been winding up for that big slap shot, probably had it deflected in the crowd. All Howe did was a wrist shot at the net because he knew that one of his players was there setting up the screen. It resulted in a goal. See if they can pull it off again for the tying goal.
Well, they have the play where they want it into the Canadian zone, and Ron Sutter has been taking most of his face-offs. He's on there again, and he wins this one with his skate, kicking it loose. But the Canadiens get it out of there. Just slipping it out and down the ice. McCrimmon is back. 45 seconds left. Flyers will have to move it in a hurry. Gainey shot. He was going for the empty net, but McCrimmon was in the way. Kerr from center is stopped. Gainey can't find it. Now he does and shoots it in. 32 seconds left in regulation time. Now the Flyers get some skating room. Up to the line to center comes Howe. Howe coming in with it. Howe played it over in front of the net. Canadiens looking for it. Flyers center it. Sotard hanging on to the post. And he holds it with his skate. Brother, we've got another very important face-off in the Canadian zone with 16 seconds left in regulation time. And a weary, gotta be weary, Larry Robinson getting up slowly.
He's played a lot this last 10 minutes, and you know, that is, again, we talked about the value of having experience. How about the value of having self-motivators on your hockey club? And Robinson certainly fits that mold. Right now, some anxious moment for Coach Jean Perron and Sotard and company, because they have played an excellent hockey game up till now, and they don't want to see this slip away from them. I think one of the teams called a timeout because they're heading to their respective benches.
Well, you have to give this Philadelphia team full marks, you know, Gary. They were down 3-0. They got a goal on Howe's 19 while shorthanded. And then Nyland got a breakaway at 14:06 of this third. And again, they were down 3 goals. But do you think that was it? No, sir. At 15:15, Cecil. And then at 18:50, Ron Sutter. And they're back in it.
You saw Mike Keenan going over a play with his players. This is something that they view on replays, on videos, a designed play for just such a time with, 30 seconds, 15 seconds left to go in the game. But it only works if you get the draw. So you got to have your good face-off man out there trying to get it. And again, the importance of getting the puck back to your point man and getting it through the traffic.
Well, you can plan all you want now. There are just 16 seconds left, and it's simple. Flyers have to get the draw. They have to spring it loose to somebody. They have to go for the net, and then somebody's got to shoot it.
You know, and the Canadiens don't want to go in overtime because they haven't fared very well in that area. I think they've only won 1 of 11 games.
Well, they're staring at a possibility of overtime right now. 16 seconds left. Of course, if they can win this faceoff and hook it out, they'll be out of this. And they've won the draw. Robinson to the corner. Here's Carbonell. That'll do it. He gets it out to Gainey. He might have one on an empty net. Gainey in there, scoring! A great effort by Captain Bob Gainey. He was checked, Gary, no doubt about it. But he did not let up. And it's 5-3 Canadiens.
Face-off, Bob, we talk about it so many times. Winning and losing. This time it was the Canadiens that won the draw, and then it resulted in a very determined effort by Captain Bob Gainey. You know, he had an eye for that net. He could smell the goal, and he got it. But look at that, a clean draw. And then Robinson, who has played another outstanding game. Now watch this effort by Gainey. He wants that goal. He's hooked from behind, but he pays off it. There's a victory to the Canadiens. That may get him out of the slump.
1953, the time of the goal. One final stop. We're so tired. And the Canadiens have defeated the Philadelphia Flyers 5-3. It's all yours, Dick Urban.
All right, Bob, the comeback by the Flyers falls just short. Montreal wins 5-3. It's tight in Toronto, 3-3 third period. We go there. Don Whitman and Howie Meeker.
Lysiak with a blast. Reagan makes the save. And now we welcome the viewers who have been enjoying the action from the forum between Montreal and Philadelphia. I'm Don Whitman along with Howie Meeker and Brian McFarland. And Murray's going to get a penalty with 2:02 remaining in the third period, and the score tied at 3. So the Leafs have a glorious opportunity to win it.
When it comes to feeling young, a lot of it's up here.
3 years ago, Maurice Richard said goodbye gray hair. Hello, Grecian Formula 16.
It was so easy, remember?
Grecian's as easy to use as water. Works for any color hair.
The change was so gradual and looked so natural, no one even noticed. Today, I still leave a touch of gray. The wife likes it.
Hey, Richard, 2 minutes for looking so good.
Look as young as you feel with Grecian Formula 16, liquid or cream.
Tom Lysiak, 2 minutes for hooking on Podubny right here from behind as Podubny goes one-on-one with the defenseman, went to go to the inside. Lysiak took a very unnecessary penalty, giving the Toronto Maple Leafs an opportunity to maybe get the winner.
He's had a very unnecessary penalty because Murray had the Leaf player all tied up when Lysiak hooked him.
Well, we've had some great goaltending here tonight. Ken Regan for the Toronto Maple Leafs has stood up and played exceptionally well, and the guy, Bob Sauvé, has just been sensational. Good goaltending at both ends.
Inachek, Preacher, and Podubny up front for the Leafs. Salming and Maxwell back on the point. Salming has a goal and 2 assists.
I'm a little surprised the Inachek line is out there.
At the point, kept in by Salming. Salming feeds it into the corner. Cross ice for Podubny. Fired it wide. Preacher tried to jam it in. He missed. A shot by Salming. Hit skates in front of the net. Broken up by the Hawks. They start back. Here's a 2-on-1. Olczyk with Murray. And Murray had it bounce over his stick. Now the Leafs. Preacher starts back. Here's a 4-on-2 for Toronto. Salming in across the line. He's checked and sent flying. The fans react as the puck goes to the corner. It's loose, dug out, back to the point. Maxwell couldn't control it at the point, and Maxwell came dangerously close there to losing it to Olczyk. Maxwell brings it in, and loses it, and Olczyk gets it out into the neutral zone with 1:08 remaining in the penalty. Podubny now for Toronto. And across the line, still controlling it. Moving right in. Podubny at the side of the net. They score! Inachek, I believe.
Well, a few seconds ago, Podubny had a wide open net, missed it. Might have been all the key
Dubney come back, picked up the puck in center ice, weaved his way by the Chicago Blackhawk players, and at the last minute, look at him here. Just held on to the puck, weaved his way around the defenseman. Now he'll cut into the middle, and oh, look at it. Make another great move and pull it across to a wide open intercheck, and holy jumpers, the Toronto Maple Leafs go ahead 4-3. I just wouldn't believe that. Somebody had to take Dubney, and they didn't. He made a heck of a move. I guess he's saying to himself, Lord Jumpers boy, I better do something after missing that wide open net. He did. Made a heck of a play.
Well, the Maple Leafs have called a timeout. With 58 seconds remaining in the third, the Leafs in front 4-3. They were ahead 1-0 after 20 minutes. They had a 3-0 lead partway through the second. Then Chicago came back with 2 goals to make it a 3-2 game after 40 minutes of play, and Darryl Sutter tied it just 18 seconds into the third.
Well, there's Claire Alexander, who I'm sure is talking just as loud and just as excitedly down to the Toronto Maple Leaf bench as I've been talking to you people. We've had just a tremendous hockey game here this evening. The Toronto Maple Leafs dominated for 35 minutes, and the Hawks come back, and it looked like for a while they had all the momentum and that they couldn't lose.
Wilson shoots it into the Toronto zone. Sauvé working his way over to the bench. The extra attacker is out there. Savard battling with Root in the corner, and the play is whistled down.
I thought the Blackhawks were a little slow getting Sauvé out.
Has there been a penalty called here?
Yes, there has been. It looks like it.
Van Hellemond, with that Chicago net empty, has gone over to the penalty box. And the Leafs are going to be assessed a penalty with 39 seconds. Reagan for interference. So we have quite an interesting end to this hockey game. 39 seconds left, and the Blackhawks will have a power play, and it also appears as though they will